Welcome to a special edition of Global Crossroads. I'm your host, Bryan Hull, and today, for the first time, we actually have some PCC students here as our guests. So, welcome, all of you.
Thank you.
Why don't you introduce yourselves by saying how long you've lived in the Portland area? I don't care who goes first.
Anthony, go first.
I'm Anthony Martinez, and I've lived in the Portland area for about 5 years. It's something right about there.
Really, 5, okay.
I am Maria Martinez, and I've been in the Portland area for about 20 years.
My name is Baltazar Vasquez, and I've been here 7 months.
Okay, and let's talk about, I think we'll go back in time. So where were you 7 months ago? Like, where'd you come from 7 months ago?
From LA.
What part of LA?
In Los Angeles County, but I lived in Norwalk. It's a city like maybe 5-10 minutes away from downtown LA.
And tell us what the environment or like what kind of neighborhood is it? Describe it to us.
It's a big gang life. There's a lot of it's influenced by a big gang in the city that I used to live in, and it's more Hispanics. Not as much as the culture is completely different from here than it is in Norwalk. Over there, there's nothing but Mexicans, blacks, and very few white people there.
Huh. So when you came, have you lived anywhere else besides that?
No.
So how was it when you came to Portland, which is super white? How was that? Like, what was that like?
It's different. Like, it's completely different because I have friends that are white, and always tell me like, oh, it feels so awkward to be, the white person with all these Mexicans. And then I come here and like I'll go to the grocery store and I'm like, man, there's a lot of people over here that are just white. Like, it's not a bad thing, but it's just completely different. Like over there, you have the music of like Mexican music. You got banda playing, and over here you have like nice, soft music, and people are just shopping by themselves. People over there are yelling. You hear little kids calling you like, "Come on, let's go, vámonos, hijo, vámonos."
Yeah.
It's just completely different.
Huh.
Yeah.
But it was fine.
Yeah.
It was just different.
It's just different. Yeah, like the stores that we have here, they don't sell the same stuff back home. Like over here, the grocery stores I've been to don't have the same like stuff that they sell at the grocery stores in LA.
Huh. Okay. And Maria, before, I know it's 20 years ago and you probably don't remember anything, but where did you come from before Portland?
I came from Mexico, from a state called Jalisco. A little town next to Guadalajara is called Tototlan. And it's just a little town with a lot of people in it, and just like he said, very loud with music and
what's
it's
the
really nice.
main way that people make their living there?
It's been a really long time. I'm not really sure. I know that they have a lot of like farms, and they also have like the little businesses that they can make like boutiques or just regular stuff. But I'm not quite sure since I haven't been there for a while.
Huh. And so you came here, and then where did you go to school?
I came to Tigard. I started off at Tigard, and I haven't left since. And I went to school. There was a school called Phil Lewis a while ago.
Phil Lewis?
Yeah, it's over by it used to be by where Lowe's is.
Oh, okay.
The Lowe's, okay. And, but yeah, it's not there anymore, but that's where I started off.
And so in your grade school, when you started going to grade school, what was the makeup of the people in your classes?
Like Baltazar said, it was very different. Just white people, American. You didn't see anybody that was colored that much. I mean, out of like 100 students, there was probably like maybe 10. Wow. It was very low. Wow. It was a little uncomfortable since I was so young and I wasn't used to that, but you grow into it.
Huh. Huh. And obviously you were speaking Spanish at home, right?
Yeah.
And so did you learn English in the school system?
I did. That was my way of learning English since my parents only knew Spanish.
Ah. And I hear that it's kind of easy for kids to, I think it would be very traumatic, but people say no, it's not at all. Like they just pick it up really fast.
Yeah, for smaller children it is like really, you can pick it up quite fast. For adults, like I said, my mom, she doesn't work, she stays at home. She understands a little bit, but she cannot speak it. So, and then I picked it up, and I mean, we've been here for 20 years. We came here as a family, and I think I speak it very well, so, and she still can't speak it.
And
so.
do you live with them?
I do.
Okay. Okay, so Anthony, where did you come from before this?
I came from, well, I've lived here for a little bit, but I came from Anaheim. I was born in Orange County. Let's see. And then I moved up here with my family because my uncle, he lived up here. And he's all like, oh, hey, you know, because in California, there's like a lot of ambulance and like every night you hear them and cops, you know.
Right, right.
It's a lot of just dangerous, you know, certain places. And so my uncle's like, oh, yeah, there's not a lot over here of that stuff, you know. It's all good, safe, you know. Come over here. And we visited a few times with my family through the plane. And it was cool. I mean, I hate the weather, but other than that, you know, it's actually really safe.
And
versus
where did you, when you landed in Portland, where did you land?
at the Portland airport, but we went to, he lived in Tigard,
Oh,
so
my goodness.
yeah, we went to Tigard to stay with him. It was
And
it was cool.
and so you said 5. When you started school, how old were you? Here?
Like here?
Yeah.
I was probably like 13, 14. I really don't remember. It was, you know, I don't really.
Middle school?
Yeah, I was like right about middle school.
And what was the makeup of your middle school?
It was a lot of white people. I didn't really notice that, you know, because I mean, you notice it, but you know, when you're growing up, I don't pay attention to like people, what they look like, you know, color. Like I kind of saw past. I didn't, you know.
Uh-huh.
In this generation, it's different, so you don't really.
Well, let's go back to Anaheim. Where in Anaheim did you grow up? Like, like when you went to school prior? What was that school?
Well, I went to school. It was called Lamson. It was this like you had to wear uniforms, and it was really weird.
Catholic?
No, it was a regular school. It was a public school. You just had to wear uniforms. It was kind of it's kind of weird, but because over here it's not like that. I mean, unless you go to like a private school.
Right.
But it's not really the same, you know. They provide you with like this clothing because I think a lot of people didn't have clothes to wear or something. I think you had to do something like with that. So it was like.
I have never heard of this public school.
Yeah, and when we ate outside for lunch, it was like, you know, versus here it's inside. There's like, you know, the whole cafeteria was outside. So.
Huh. Okay, so I'll go back. Your parents both start. Why don't you tell me where they came from? Let's go. Let's talk about them a little bit.
Well, my dad, he came from El Salvador, and he came when he was in his late, like 18, 19.
And do you know what was happening in El Salvador at the point he left?
Well, I don't know, to be honest, I don't know exactly, but I know during that time it was in the revolution, or like right before it was the Revolutionary War. But I think he decided to come because my dad comes, he has 17 brothers and sisters.
17?
17.
Wow.
17 brothers and sisters, and I think my uncle was here, my tío, and he was already here, so he told my dad, which is his brother, to come, and he came, and he decided to come, and that was it. There was no, you know, my parents, everybody, his mom and dad, and all his brothers and sisters stood there, and him and my uncle would provide money to my family, my grandparents
Back home
in El Salvador.
And your mom?
She's from the same place, from El Salvador too.
Huh. Okay. And we've heard a little bit about your parents, where they came. They're both from the same town?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Huh. And Anthony, what about your parents?
My mom is from this small town called Jiquilpan, my bad. It's like in a bigger region called Michoacan.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad is he's from like the city, and they call those people like chilangos. So at work.
Sounds really cool. Is it cool or not?
I still know what it means, you know. I know what it means, but not really.
Do you know what it means?
Not exactly, but it's from the Mexico City.
Oh.
Like everyone at my work is, you know, a lot of them are Hispanic people, and they're like, "Hey, chilango!" Every time I go in, and I'm just like, "All right."
Yeah. I guess
try not
it's
to be
kind of
offended.
like Oregonian. You know how like you get called off if
Yeah.
you're from Oregon, Oregonian.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh. And so how would you, you've been to see where your parents grew up,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So describe it. How would you describe it?
It's like really ghetto, you know. There's like they deliver like water to you, and like they like raise chickens and like rabbits just to kill them.
People do that in the
But you
city.
raise them to kill them, you know. It's like it's almost like a pet in a cage, but then you're raising it to kill it.
You think it's a pet, but not really.
Yeah, it's kind of
But
crazy.
is it rural or
Oh, yeah, it's
suburban?
rural.
Or?
Yeah, it's really rural. There's not like a lot of towns or anything. I mean, the part where I went anyway, you know, and for my mom's part, there's just there's like little buildings, a lot of churches, a lot of like, you know,
How many
it's
times have you been there?
to like just Mexico in general.
No,
or-
to the where your parents are from.
like about 5 times.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
there's a lot of Catholic influence, so a lot of people are, you know, they're involved with like church and all that. So
So one of the things that the upper administrators at PCC, they're always worried, like, oh, do we have a welcoming atmosphere for all of our students, you know? And they have people fill out surveys, and people say different things about Sylvania, for example. So what's your experience coming to PCC? How would you describe the atmosphere? Be honest too. You can be diplomatic but honest.
No, all right. It's different. People in LA are much friendlier. I know people always tell me like, oh, when you come to Portland, it's like the nicest. No, I feel like LA people are more outgoing. The first day, like I said, the first day I was here, like it was raining. People wearing like t-shirts, and I was all like in a sweater, had a hood on, and like, you know, for the first like month, I sat by myself. Nobody said anything to me.
Where? Where were you sitting?
In the cafeteria. Like I would just sit by myself. And then back home in LA, you know, I went to community college, and people just go up to you like, hey, what's up, man? Like, what are you doing?
Like
You know?
they didn't know you, they'd sit
Without
down.
without anything. Like I had to go out to reach the people over here. Like
That would
the
be
friends
way too friendly for me. I
the
don't
friends-
want to sit with strangers while.
the friends I've had, they like here. The friends I have now is people that I went out to say like, hey, what's up, man? My name's Nate. You know, people in LA, you can tell when they're not from LA. You're like, oh, you're not from around here. Where you from? And then
That's your little intro.
that's your intro, and then
Okay.
you just get to know the person.
Okay, so it wasn't super friendly.
Once you get to know people, they're friendly. But the environment to say like, oh, welcome to Portland, Sylvania campus. No.
Okay. So PCC, you too. What do you think of it?
My experience at PCC, the first time I came wasn't that welcoming either. I actually went to the Register Center office
Here on Pennsylvania.
and I tried to register, and the lady there was really rude to me. The first thing she asked me was for my social before anything else. And
I don't think you're even ever have to
no, I
provide.
actually talked to one of the counselors about it, and they did calling to the boss and all this other stuff to get that. Because I didn't appreciate that, you know.
Right.
I hate the way that you get placed in they classify you, okay, skin color or name, last name.
Right.
So that was my first experience. After that, you're kind of just like on your own. You come to school, you come to class, then you leave. That's why I'm here, to get my education pretty much.
And how many terms have you been here?
I've been here since '08. That's when I first started.
Oh, wow. And what about the classroom environment? How is that?
I've had really good teachers, thankfully.
But
So I haven't had
do
any.
the other students, does it feel welcoming when you're with other students or no?
Yeah, I mean, you know, eventually when your first day, you don't really know anybody, so you're kind of just by yourself. Eventually you start talking to people around you. After that incident, I've never had anything else, but that was my first impression of PCC when I first got here.
First impressions are important.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
I think I have to say like it's more like Baltasar. It's exactly what they said. Like the gist of it. You know, like he said, you have to reach out to people. I think it's a lot. Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. Because if you're born here, you know, you start from the bottom, and then you go to the top with the people you grew up with. You know, you expand.
Right. So
Yeah,
you're
if you just come here, it's
yeah.
just different. You don't know anybody. You have to start. You have to reach out. You have to do things, and then, yeah.
It's interesting because you, like the way you are in class, you're a little bit more shy than he is. So it would probably be easier for you to, I don't know, but I don't know if how you are in class is how you are in other places, but do you think you're shyer than he is in general?
I don't think I'm more shy or anything. I think I just don't really say anything because I don't really. I care, but you know, I know somebody's gonna want to shout out something else, you know. So it's like as long as I know what's going on in my head, you know, like I know the answers. I could say the answer if I want, but like there's always gonna be that one person who like says it before anyone else. And there's, you know, I was taught to like raise my hand, so it's always. In here, it's different. People kind of just call out.
He definitely doesn't raise his hand.
People call out. So
you used to. In the beginning, you used to raise your hand.
You get too comfortable, and you're just like, all right, I'm just gonna stay like this. You know, I'll just do my work and. Yeah.
So you also didn't find it super welcoming, super warm?
I mean, some of the female people I talked to were really nice. They were really nice. Versus some of the male people, Like
You're talking about students and staff?
no, yeah, I'm talking about staff, right?
Uh-oh.
Some of the female staff was really
Super
nice to me.
nice?
They were so nice. It was so welcoming.
But the
I was
guys
like,
were not that
yeah,
nice?
some of the guys were kind of mean, rude. I came to like apply to like get admitted, and the guy was like asking me a bunch of questions like in a rude way, and he was like, I just came to the front. I didn't know where the line went. He's like, back of the line, and he was just like really rude, and I've never even been to the
Wow.
campus. I just came to be
Right.
part of you guys,
Goodness
and he's just
gracious.
all like, I don't know. I didn't feel.
This is not good news.
You told us to be honest.
I know,
Yeah.
no. It's bad when you have these conversations and people say like obligatory nice things. That's
Yeah.
really annoying. So it doesn't do anyone any good. Okay, so let's go to the national scene, and there is at least talk of there being immigration reform on the national scene. I'm not sure if anything really is going to happen. It looked like maybe there was going to be something happening. Now I'm not so sure. So, what do the people that you sort of talk to, your family, your friends, what would they like to see with immigration reform? And of course, I'm sure you hear lots of different things. So tell me some like 2 or 3 things that you hear that people are concerned about, or I don't care whoever wants to go first.
I'll go first. I think that my personal opinion as well is that it's really good news to hear that they're trying to do something about it. I know that there's people here that have been here for years, and all they want is, they've been working here, they just want to work legally. So if you can get like some kind of work permit, and then also, like I said, there's been here people for years, they want to go back to their country, they want to visit their land. They come here for a reason. They come here to work for more opportunities, so I don't think going back and living there is an option since they've been here for so long. But getting that opportunity to go back and see their family, I think would be really good.
And I can't remember who wrote about this, but like it's difficult to go back because of your status, right? You can't really go back, and
yeah, just depending on what your status is, you can't leave the country, or
right. So you have to make some
so
really tough decisions.
it's tough, yeah.
Okay. And are there certain things you'd like to see? Like you just basically said, I'm glad they're trying to do something, but is there something that you think would be essential or really important to be part of the reform?
Well, I mean, for me, there's just so many people that having it just to be like a work permit, being legal here, apparently that number is really important here. So why not have it since you're already here? You're already paying taxes. You're already working day and night. You're going to school. There's no harm being done. So why not be a part of it? Be a part of the states.
So the emphasis is on the work permit. What about, because it looks like there might be a split between work permit and being a citizen. Do you hear people talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, you have to start out somewhere. That's the way I see it. You can't expect everything. You can't expect being a citizen. You can't expect leaving the country as soon as they give you some sort of ID, or, you work your way up. And I think that for me, a work permit is really important for people that are already here and have been here for a long time. Because, I mean, there's people here, working 2-3 jobs as a dishwasher. That's how my dad started. I never saw my dad because he was working 2-3 jobs as a dishwasher. And there would come time where, because when he came here, he didn't have a social. And all of a sudden, he was laid off 2 weeks before Christmas. And, I mean, it's hard to go through that.
Yeah.
So just having that work permit there, knowing that, you're not going to get laid off because you don't have it,
right.
then I think that's really important. And then working your way up from then.
Well, I'm not too informed about the whole immigration thing, but I think what she was saying is correct. It's right. Like, I have actually a friend. He's from Cuba. He just graduated. He doesn't have any papers, doesn't have anything. He graduated from University of Irvine. Can't get a job because he doesn't have a social. He had to pay everything out of his own pocket. His parents had to pay everything out of their own pockets because he couldn't apply for financial aid, or he couldn't do this because he didn't have any papers. And I just think it has such an effect on people. But, at the same time, like, I understand where, if I'm coming here to this country, like, I'm not going to, obviously I'm going to bring my culture with me, but I'm not going to, you know what I mean? Like, I think sometimes especially back home in LA, like, I see all these Mexicans and Salvadorians and Colombians, and all these people bring you know, it's fine to bring your culture in, but I think once you start like forgetting that you're in America, I think that's what it brings people, like, you know, white people or like you're just Americans in general, just be like, see, you guys are the ones that ruined
But wait a second, what it would mean to forget that you're in America? Like, what would that mean?
I think like sometimes, you know, you get people like waving like the Mexican flag, which is fine, or the Salvadorian flag, which is fine, but don't forget you're in America. Like, I think that's what my dad says, you know, he goes, I'm proud to say I'm a Salvadorian, but I'm more proud to say I'm American because I came here to this country for an opportunity, and they've given it to me. And you know, you get a lot of those people are like that, and it's fine, like I'm not saying not to represent your country, but I'm saying, but you get the things like, oh, like, you know, about like just like, I don't even know how to explain it, like they just forget, like
you feel like they forget.
yeah, like they forget that they're in America. You know, I don't know if it makes sense. I know it sounds like it's bad, but no, because like I'm proud to say I'm Latino. I'm proud to say that I'm Hispanic, but I'm American first. You know, if USA was playing against El Salvador in a baseball soccer game, I'm going for USA. I'm not gonna go for El Salvador. Does that make sense? I think.
But I want to see what Maria has to say.
I just like he said, his dad got the opportunity.
Right.
A lot of people have been here for years and they haven't gotten the same opportunity. You know, this is the land of opportunities.
Right.
I know that's why my dad and my mom brought me here,
yeah.
but also we haven't gotten those opportunities. A lot of people have, you know, they're not equal. That's what I see. And I mean, I'm very happy with this country. You know, like I learned the language, I'm working, I'm going to school.
Yeah.
I, like he said, I'm proud, but I'm not, like I'm equally
Right.
proud.
I would say that's true. No, from the limited amount of time I've known you in class, I would say that's how you are in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, Anthony, have anything to say about immigration?
I honestly think like it really depends. Like, it's a really interesting question because it differs from like where you are. Like right here, you said it's predominantly white people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if a Hispanic person has a view, you know, chances are like the people, other people, you know, predominant people are going to have differing opinion.
Right.
So like let's say I think, you know, because I obviously I have family who like are immigrants, you know, that are out there is trying to like get by, and then other people are like the white people are kind of like, oh, I don't think that's right, you know. But it's kind of, it just differs because
right. Well, one of the things you keep
connection.
hearing over and over again, I want to see what you guys have to say about this, is you always hear this thing, and I never know what to say. I just am like, I have no response, I have to say. Is people say they broke the law and we can't reward people for breaking the law. They always bring up the legal aspect. They came to this country illegally, and that's for them a big deal. So what would you say, or what do you think when people say that?
I think they're right, but at the same time, they're not just going to go out there and say, this is your permit. They're charging people for it. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be yearly. Just like the DREAM Act, the Deferred Action, that's not free. They are going to be, there's a certain amount of money that you have to pay every 2 years for it. People had to go through lawyers to get this. It was a lot of money spent. So anything that they're saying is not free. Also, they're going back and saying how they're going to go back and you have to pay all the taxes you haven't been paying, because apparently people that are illegal here aren't paying taxes.
That's not true, right?
It's not true.
Okay.
From my point of view, I don't know about these guys, but I don't think it's true. I think that if you're working, otherwise they're going to come after you. You know, that's the way I feel.
Right.
So I don't think, I mean, you're not a criminal. They're not going to give it to just anybody. I'm pretty sure they're going to check your background and check.
You mean by you haven't been, you're not been arrested for a felony or something
right,
like that?
Right.
Okay.
So that's what I think about that. I don't think that a punishment of some sort is correct. I don't think that them saying that, like I said before, it's not going to be free. They're not going to give it out just to anybody.
Right.
It's going to be a harder process than that.
And what about this idea that if they do amnesty for people, that then like it's like a wave of people will like wash over the U.S. I mean, there's sort of anxiety. Like if you say, okay, you can be a citizen, then what's going to keep everyone and their brother from? What do you think about when people say that? I don't know if do you hear people say that?
No, I've never heard that.
No, not really.
I guess.
I mean, like before, like they said, before they do anything, they're going to secure the borders. So I don't know what that means. I don't know exactly
Right,
what
I
it
don't know
means.
what that means either.
But like I said, it's a long process. So.
You know, I think she's right in what she's saying. I think, you know, they're both, you know, whoever says it's correct about saying, you know, they're already coming here illegally. But I think what creates a lot of problems is just the gangs. Because I, you know,
Yeah.
I'm Hispanic. I have a lot of my cousins. I'm probably one of the few in my family that's not a gangster or cholo, if you want to call it. That's what they call them. And I think a lot of people like to say like, oh, see, this is why America's messed up, because all these cholos are coming in. And I understand, yeah, if they're breaking the law, then obviously they should be punished. And I think that where it becomes like a big, you know, like a big wall where people are saying that's why we're closing the borders, because all you're going to do is come over here and create, you know,
That's certainly
crime.
a part of it, yeah.
That is.
Like, yeah,
I agree with that.
yeah. There are always that similar kinds of things. It's not like this is new, you know. It's like the mafia kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, there's always been odd organizations. But I'm curious, we only have like a minute left, so I don't know if you can say a concise version. I hate when people ask really difficult questions in a short amount of time. But why do you think that you chose a different path than other people in your family?
Like in terms of school?
No, as far as, like you said,
you
I'm
weren't a
not.
gangster.
Yeah.
Oh, why I'm not a.
Yeah.
I just.
At some point, you must have. I'm just curious why you went down a different road.
Why I went? Because my mom and dad raised me to, like, you know, my mom, her brothers and her cousins, they're all cholos. My dad, all their families cholos, and I just see my mom and dad always raised me to say, like, you know, not that they're my family and all that, but they always say, you see the kind of lifestyle they live, do you want to live like that, you know? And I've been to my cousin's house where he's even scared to be in his own house because he's afraid of a drive-by, or he's afraid that somebody's after him. And I feel like I just see the lifestyle. You know, I have 2 uncles that are in prison for the rest of their lives, and so I just figured that, you know, I'd rather become successful, you know, and just show my parents, like, see, you know.
Well, I thank you, all 3 of you, for taking time out of your. We're near the end of the term. I know you have like 10,000 things you could have been doing, and you've made the effort to come today. So I thank you, and I thank you for your honest and sort of expertise in this area. We don't have enough of these conversations, and we certainly don't. In those conversations, we don't hear from people who are affected on a day-to-day basis by these. So I thank you for taking part in them.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Okay. Well, that's it. Who knows who we're going to have next on Global Crossroads, but stay tuned.